All right, good, awesome. All right, well, welcome everybody to 1 Million Cups. This is the Seattle chapter of an international organization. And please grab your coffee or tea, whatever you prefer. That's the intention. It's why they call it 1 Million Cups, right? So I feel like we need to live into that in order to be authentic. And or otherwise, mark your calendar for every Wednesday at 9 a.m. And again, bookmark that link tree so that you can join us here on the regulars. And we also have some social media. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are also on LinkedIn. So find us through LinkedIn and connect there as well. And lastly, make sure you sign up for our newsletter so you can stay in the loop. We are planning some really awesome things as the months unfold, including our live event, which we alternate into our process, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But again, that link tree is going to be sort of your number one resource. So copy that link, save it, put it wherever you save important things, bookmark it, etc. It's going to have your Zoom link so you never have to forget, or rather remember, oh, what was the Zoom link? Oh, you just go to the link tree, click the thing, and you're good to go. Of course, you can sign up for the emails there and also watch replays. So during our normal format, we do have a presentation or two presentations by entrepreneurs, and then we go into a Q&A format. Great opportunity, by the way, for those of you who are starting new businesses or have a new project or initiative within your current business that you'd like to get some feedback and traction on. This is a great place to watch the replays and see what other people have done, and then get a chance to ultimately sign up yourself to be a presenter. And then again, we have all of the social media links in that space too. And so what are we here to do as a community? Well, we are here to share ideas. We all have different experiences as entrepreneurs and business owners, whether aspiring or current, and or well seasoned. And so this is a great space to be that resource for one another, to offer help, to ask for help, most certainly, which we'll get into today, and to really surround yourself with a community of people who are supportive and want to see your success, want themselves to succeed in this entrepreneurial journey as we build this community together. So a few differentiators that we like to bring forward. When we go into our presentations, they are presentations, not pitches. So don't view the people in this room as, prospective clients. They might be, you never know. And it's more about presenting information that inspires, educates, informs, provides insights, and creates the opportunity for a deeper connection as a community. And so therefore connecting, not networking, at least not networking in that sort of pray and spray hunter mode, but rather finding those opportunities to really deepen relationships with people and to build a bond so that we can support each other through the challenges of being on this entrepreneurial journey. Again, focused on community building. So we do invite you to bring other colleagues into this space, other community members into this space who have added value to your entrepreneurial and small business journey. We do the same so that we can really, again, surround ourselves with the resources we need to solve the problems that we have to solve. And that being said, we are really aiming to be a radically and intentionally inclusive space. So we ask that you respect other people, other people's perspectives, opinions, thoughts, ideas, backgrounds, etc., and to remain proactive in your communication and supporting one another and creating a safe space for all who choose to be on this journey. And so again, as a reminder, we are across the nation, 168 communities, 3,500 attendees, and many, 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 many volunteers like myself and Adele and Dan that make things happen in this community. So if you are interested in joining us in person, that was talked a little bit about earlier today, we have a partner, a local partner in the Seattle area called Expansive in Pioneer Square. They have a location at 600 First Avenue. We would love you to join us. The second Wednesday of each month, we come together at that location. to meet in person. Then what's really cool about it is that the space itself actually gives us a day pass or an opportunity to leverage a day pass. And so you can come, hang out with some awesome people like us, then spend the day working there, maybe work on some things together before you head out on your merry way. So again, same time, same date, Wednesdays, but in person. We also PS do live stream that, so or rather provide access to that virtually. So if you can't come in person, but you still want to be present in some way, you can just join the Zoom line, and somebody will be there as the chat monitor interacting. If you have questions and want to ask questions of the speaker, that person will actually help facilitate that experience. So know that whether you choose to be in person or online, we will accommodate for you. And that also being said, we couldn't do this again without our volunteers, also without our amazing sponsors. Here are a few of them that make our dreams come true of building this community. And this is our lovely spread of community volunteers. So if you notice there's a future organizer with a question mark, maybe that's you. Maybe you'll come support us. And to be clear, we do need people to fill certain specific roles, like the role I'm serving today, or the role that Adele is serving in providing information through the chat. But we also need help with very specific, tiny little tasks that maybe you have a skill set, say in, I don't know, maybe you know a community organization that you think would benefit from being connected with us. And you can easily send them an email and say, hey, come check out this group. I think you should be involved. That little things like that can go a long way in helping to support us in building our community. And so again, as I said, little tasks, big tasks, consistent tasks, whatever support you can provide would be much appreciated. If you are interested, email us at seattle@1millioncups.com. And let's get you in queue so that you can add to the equation. And remember, we are here to be a resource again, to learn from each other. And in doing so, we're going to be as concise and direct and clear in our communications and use the breakout rooms later on to deepen our connections. And so today we are doing a sort of variation of one of our standard formats, the Teacup Convo. And really this Teacup Convo is going to be oriented towards a particular topic, which I'll get into in the next, I'll get into it in this slide right here. But basically the way that this is going to work is our Teacup Convo gives us the opportunity to do breakout rooms. Today we're going to do 2 breakout rooms instead of 3. And we'll have a coming together after each of the breakout rooms to kind of share some key insights. But before we go into the breakout rooms, we decided that in the month of May, to kind of shift things up a little bit and create a slightly different structure within the Teacup conversation, that we would give ourselves a theme and kick off the month with a little bit of an educational spotlight around that particular theme that would then inform our breakout rooms. And the intention here is A, to get you all talking to each other and with each other, but B, most importantly, solving some critical business challenge that you're facing around the theme, and creating the resource or generating the resource within this community to help you address that theme. Well, I'll explain what that means as things unfold. But that being said, the theme for the month is actually marketing, and Stephanie, who's on the line with Counterweight, is one of our marketing gurus in the community. So we figured we'd give Stephanie the opportunity to spotlight some marketing stuff for you that would then inspire us as we move into our breakout rooms. So Stephanie, why don't I pass it over to you to kick us off with our educational spotlight on marketing, and then we'll transition into the breakout rooms.
I was going to unmute myself and the screen changed. I was like, oh no, I clicked the wrong button. I was nervous for a second. And thank you, Matthew. And as Matthew stated, my name is Stephanie McKellar. I'm the marketing director of an agency named Counterweight Media based out of Tacoma, Washington. And the idea with marketing as the main theme of the month is to really understand, kind of going back to basics. It's something that's very well known. My opinion in the group in the past is I'm in the digital marketing space. I have many clients and businesses and organizations from anywhere from 2, 3, 5 to 20, 50 plus employees. And it always comes back to this idea of I wish we could do everything. Digital marketing, there's so much stuff, there's so many platforms, there's so many things to do. And this month's focus in marketing, especially, is sort of go back to our roots, which is honestly, digital marketing will reward you for doing one thing really well. And to understand that one thing that you do well is essentially your selling point. We get so caught up in the idea of marketing and sales and the next tool or the next trick, the next trade secret that everyone wishes to do, or hey, my competitor Joe is suddenly doing this, I need to do that too, that we forget the essence of how to sell ourselves. How do we actually present ourselves to people? What makes us valuable to those who wish to either hire us for our skills, our services, our consultation? There's many industries where we lose sight into what's important as opposed to getting the sale. So part of this month is to really go back and think about how marketing and strategy can work best for you if you concentrate your resources and ideas into one simple thing, into something that you know is going to work for you. An example is that, let's say you're a comedian and you're going to tell all these wonderful, amazing jokes, but as we know with many comedians, landing a good joke to one person may not land the same way with someone else. So understanding your audience, understanding that you can't make everybody laugh, you can't necessarily make everyone absolutely enjoy your product at every single time, but you can figure out what is going to be best for you, how to invest those resources to the best of your advantage, but also keeping in mind that you don't have to basically split yourself thin. You don't want to do everything. You want to do something very well and understand what works for you and what is how to market yourself. And so with the month of May, in this case, the hope is that understanding and talking and through discussion, we find out essentially what makes you you, what makes you valuable so that you can take that to market. Essentially stop focusing on the idea of marketing or selling or trades or tips or tools, but rather find the value that you bring for other people and using that to your advantage, and then finding the best solution to make that work. If your value in terms of your skill that everyone goes, wow, that's amazing, you should absolutely use that as a resource, is writing. Use that writing into potentially using that in blogs, article writing, discussions, things that will be an advantage to you. If you're great with illustrations, graphics, use those to your advantage with social media or print materials, that sort of thing. And obviously with discussions and talking today, the hope is this will kick off to, this is tough. This is one of the things I've been thinking about. I'm not sure if I go about this, and really just be open and talk about how can I concentrate my resources? What is the one thing that's going to set me apart? And how am I going to use that to my advantage in either off-site, inbound, or digital marketing in itself? So that's essentially my 2 cents of what I think should go into today. And obviously, if anyone has any questions as we go through it, I encourage everybody to ask and say, hey, this is my experience. This is how I've seen the situation. This is who I've worked with.
Thank you, Stephanie. Now I have our breakout rooms queued up. And I'll explain, what your first prompt is going into the breakout rooms in a moment. But before I do, does anybody have any questions or curiosities or comments even, or feedback just based on what Stephanie shared in her educational spotlight? Was there something that jumped out for you, or a thought? She was talking about the one thing. Is there anything that you feel like, oh, this is the thing that I do really well that I want to keep exploring? Just curious if there's anything coming up for anybody before we move out into the breakout rooms, and just come off of mute. Adele, go for it.
I just love, thank you for saying not to try to do everything. And I know that's what I need to do, but I always circle back into, oh, what about this and that and this and that? So hearing that come from you is so helpful because I constantly need that reminder.
Good. Thank you, Adele. Dale. I see.
Yeah, I really like the observation, because I think for many of us, if this entrepreneurial journey is very different from what we had done before, we are having to exercise or build, in some cases, new strengths and rediscover things that we took for granted in other environments. So that's frankly been a challenge for me, and it's something I'm learning a lot about.
Cool. Thank you, Dale. Thank you. All right, so we are gonna shift into our breakout rooms. It looks like there's 3 people per breakout room, and I've assigned you so that there's somebody from the 1 Million Cups community in each of your breakout rooms. So if you're unfamiliar with the community, you've got somebody there that can ground you. And otherwise, here's what I ask you to do, or invite you to do. 1, introduce yourself, right? Talk a little bit about your business, who you are, how you ended up here, just give us some context. And then the theme for the first breakout room around the topic of marketing is obstacles and opportunities. Obstacles and opportunities. So what are the things that are getting in your way? Anything from time management issues to technical issues, whatever they might be. What are your obstacles and what are your opportunities? Those are the things that you're like, wow, gosh, if I could only figure this out and I could bring in this kind of client, or I could solve this problem, or I could figure out this message and deliver it to this group, that could create something for you as you build your business, as you get your business off the ground. So just share your obstacles and opportunities. Know that in the second breakout session, we'll talk about action and accountability. So you don't need to worry about coming up with a plan just yet. We want to kind of brainstorm with each other. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes in this room. So please be cognizant of time. Make sure that everybody gets a little bit of time to share who they are, what they're up to, and talk about the obstacles and opportunities. And then as you're listening to that, start to ask them clarifying questions. So have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? What about that? Right? Getting to sort of elicit this sort of dialogue through our conversation and supporting each other. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the open all breakout rooms. You'll get a little notification, press accept, go into your breakout rooms. I'll set the timer, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes. All right. Welcome back. We're just going to wait for everybody to file on in. I know I got into a situation like, I want to stay. I can't, because I have to keep people moving, but I want to stay, but I can't.
Such a fun conversation.
Yeah, it's like, what's cool about it is like, we can't see what we can't see because of our own blind spots, right? And so the value of having people ask us questions that question the words that we use,
Yeah.
Granted, is like, oh, okay. And then it's really cool how powerful it is to like have each other as mirrors, right, in these conversations. So yeah. All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for jumping into these breakout rooms. I know my experience was I want to stay and keep talking because my colleagues Donna and Leanna were like blowing my mind with things that I could be thinking differently about. So I was like super eager to stay. But I just wanted to capture some key learnings, key insights from all of you. What was like the one thing you heard that you thought like, hey, wow, this is a question that came up for me. I'd like to share that as an offer to the community as we continue this dialogue. Anything that came, or it could be something like, hey, look, I'm telling y'all right now, Donna and Leanna, if you're like strategizing in that 10 minutes, they're good strategists, like good feedback from both of them. So Stephanie, I see your hand come up. Why don't you come off mute, share a little bit about what came up for you, and we'll do some sharing.
Yeah, so this actually is from Shika too, which brought Dan and I kind of like this whole element, but kind of to share the group is the realization of how generations have viewed business has changed drastically. For example, older generation, it wasn't really entrepreneurial. Actually being an entrepreneur wasn't a thing, but now you have a younger generation where, content creation is money. It's, hey, if I put myself out there, I can make money. I'm focusing on purchasing things from basically like social capital. I can, create content, buy a designer bag, get a luxury car and show off in that way, where the concept of entrepreneurial or internal marketing has changed instead of in the past where it's, we don't talk about money. We don't talk about that kind of stuff. You don't talk about being an entrepreneur. You just, keep your head down, get a good job, keep going up through the ranks. Whereas now, as the next kind of generation, there's a completely different focus. There's like, just a less of a barrier to entry into wanting to be an entrepreneur or to market yourself, especially in a social space.
Thank you, Stephanie. Dan, I see your hand up.
Yeah, Stephanie and during our conversation has brought up different tiers of customers, or target markets, I guess. And it made me realize that I have like only two tiers, like a base tier and then my ideal customer as far as who I'm marketing to and building customer personas or avatars, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, there could be, it made me realize there could be a lot of different tiers, and those different tiers you might be marketing to differently.
Got
I'd
it.
like to actually continue on what Dan mentioned. So this was a concept I made up a long time ago when social media started, like 5+ years ago, called multi-tiered audiences. And the idea is that not only, obviously we know buyer personas, as Dan mentioned, with the with avatars and so on and so forth, but more of in that case is that you have your main audience, but who's that audience also connected with? Like, what are their degrees of separation? So this might be your ideal client, but who are they talking to? You should consider them their audiences because they're watching this person. They're part of this person's community, audience, circle. They're key decision makers, and it branches from there. So it's like not just one person, but depth to that audience.
Thank you, Stephanie. All right, so we're going to go back into our breakout rooms to continue our conversation. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the breakout rooms as they were, just so that we can deepen the conversation with the people that we were already with. Now, just a note, after we go out into these next round of breakout rooms, we're going to come back together. I'm going to just talk really briefly about sort of wrapping up the space. I will invite you in this next breakout room to make sure that you exchange any contact information with your connections. So drop in your LinkedIn information, drop in your email address, in part because the theme for this next breakout room, so we talked about obstacles and opportunities in the last run. That was to bubble up the ideas of what you could be doing, right, to transform your business and do what you need to do. Now we're talking about action and accountability. So based on your last breakout room and the conversations that emerged, what is some action that you want to take this month? And what kind of accountability or support are you looking for? Do you need an accountability buddy? Do you need somebody with a particular area of expertise? Do you just need to come next week to the live event and co-work with us at Expansive in person? Who knows? But let's put that out on the table and see if you can generate some accountability or support within your breakout room. So with that, I will see you in another 10 minutes. Enjoy. Room is opening now, and we'll see you on the other side. Oh, sorry, I just was not on. I was talking and I was on mute. All right, so while we're waiting for everybody to come back, oh, everybody's back. Okay, great. Check the chat, drop your info in the chat, make sure that you're in communication with the people you want to be in communication with. Also, defer to Adele's link at the very top. Adele, maybe you can drop that link again, the one that has the community information, the contact information, and also the link tree. And thank you everyone for being here today. I just wanted to speed through some, just skip all that stuff. I don't know what those are. Blah, 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 takeaways. I'm going to honor your time and try to just be really quick about this last checkout. There's a lot of slides here. One moment, please. All right, so just to remember, we are meeting in person next week. That's at Expansive. Let me see if we should have a slide for that. No, we don't, not right now. Hold on, where is it? Sorry, my slides are going slow. I'll find it, give me a sec. Sorry, I'll just forget the slides for a second. Sorry. So yeah, so next week in person, Expansive, downtown Seattle. It's going to be awesome. The intention here, just to kind of create the container for everyone, is, we wanted to set the theme for the month so that you could sort of have a reason to really go back to the people that you met and say, hey, Donna, I really loved what you were sharing. Could we talk offline about that? I could use your support. I see that you understand this, right? And then we can really leverage the community, whether we're in person or virtually. And again, as a reminder, also, we are looking for presenters. So if you want to present or volunteer, please let us know. Don, I see your hand is up, so let's take your question, and then I'll leave the Zoom room open for general networking as we move through. Donna, go for it.
Quick question regarding next week. Is there any guidelines regarding masks and so forth to participate?
So we are following the rules of the state, and we had been checking vaccination cards, and we had been asking people to wear masks. Dan, do you want to give?
Yeah, we don't require any sort of vaccination or negative tests now, because they move beyond those requirements. We just ask that people if people would like to wear masks, that's an option. So we just encourage people to do what is comfortable for them. And that if people want to wear masks, great. If you don't want to wear a mask and you just want to remain socially distant, then that's fine as well. That's kind of in line with what the expansive and what the requirements are right now.
Yeah, and
So it's
I'm
pretty
here in
flexible.
Expansive this morning, and it's they have like a masking optional sign
Yeah,
up.
it's optional.
So that's
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Matthew, you're muted.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was just highlighting Adele's drops in the chat. So at this point, we are complete with our session today. So if you need to go, you're welcome to head on out. Otherwise, I'll leave the Zoom room open for a few minutes so that we can continue to network and connect.